We had a conversation in caucus today that dealt with two very important issues. First, of course, we spent a good deal of time talking about making sure our government is providing security, keeping the trains running, doing everything that we expect it to do because we pay taxes, and that is keeping government operating. And unless our Republican colleagues can move forward with a proposal that is bipartisan, it looks like we're heading towards another Republican shutdown of government. And no one would like to see that, because we're too close to the holidays now to disrupt all the activities, not just of government, but of the lives of Americans throughout this country. So it's time to get to work. 2 months ago, we reached an agreement on the parameters for a budget. And now all we have to do is have our colleagues on the Republican side stop trying to inject things that have nothing to do with the budget, but a lot to do with their social agenda. Those are not matters that belong in a fiscal measure that is meant to keep the government operating. We spent a great deal of time as well on a second very immediate and important subject, and that is how to keep Americans safe. And the security of the American people is paramount. That is the principal responsibility of any government. And Mr. Thompson and Ms. Kelly will be hosting today a forum on this issue. Many of our colleagues, including, I believe, the Vice Chairman and I, will be attending as well to talk about this, because maybe we want Americans to know that we're thinking of those families that are right now suffering from the tragedies of losing their loved ones as a result of some of these shootings, whether it's San Bernardino, Colorado Springs, you name it, Newtown. We're almost on the anniversary of the shooting in Newtown that killed 20 children and 6 adults. But a moment of silence is not action. And if the only thing Congress is going to do is hold moments of silence every time someone is tragically gunned down, whether by someone who means us harm because we're simply Americans, or whether it's because that perpetrator didn't like the color of our skin or didn't like the content of our character. Either way, that's terror. And there are families that have been terrorized, and now there are families who have lost their loved ones as a result of this terror. We must act. And there are some very straightforward things that we can do. Mr. Thompson and Ms. Kelly will speak specifically about some of those things, but certainly where there is a sweet spot of what we can do together, not as Democrats or Republicans, but as Americans here in Congress, we should. And so we're here to say that it's not enough to do moments of silence. It's time to act. We need to sound the alarm. We need to sound the alarm for people like Shannon Johnson, who died in the San Bernardino shootings, was a constituent of mine. We need to sound the alarm for Garrett Swayze, who was one of the police officers. He was one of the 3 people who was killed in Colorado Springs by someone who was out to do harm to people who were at the Planned Parenthood clinic in Colorado. We want to make sure that everyone has an opportunity to be free and to be safe. And for that to be the case, Congress must act. It can't just do moments of silence.